All right, so my goal today is to review for the test so that you feel ready for the test tomorrow. There's a couple rules I want you to remember. Sing this with me about adding and subtracting. Ready, begin. Same sign, add and keep, different sign, subtract. Take the sign of the larger number, then you'll be exact. All right, so that's the rules for adding and subtracting. Totally different rules for when we multiply and divide. Read me what these rules are. Go ahead. If you have an even number or even amount of your answer will always be positive. Very good. Okay, this is only for multiply and divide. Read me the next part. If you have an odd amount of negative signs, your answer will always be negative. All right, so remember that as we do our review game today. All right, for this one, you are finding the product or the quotient. Okay, it says negative 15 divided by 3. Guys, how many negatives do you see? One. That's an odd amount of negative signs. Looks like everyone got it correct. The correct answer was negative 5. All right, problem number 2. We've got negative 27 divided by negative 3. Okay, for this one, I have 2 negative signs. That's an even amount of negative signs, which means my answer has to be positive. And how many times does 3 go into 27? Not 7. 9 times. So the correct answer would be 9. Okay, the first thing I always tell you is find the negative or the positive. Find your sign first. Guys, is this answer going to be positive or negative? Negative. Negative. Here's what you got to be careful of. What does this little dot right here mean? Multiply. A lot of you guys divided. So what should the answer be? Negative 16. Negative 16 is the correct answer. All right. The next problem says find the product or the quotient of 5 times negative 5. Remember, when you're multiplying, you have to count the negative signs. There's only one, so your answer has to be negative. And guys, what's 5 times 5? 25. Be careful. I had some people who were trying to add. Remember, if you have these parentheses there, that's telling us to multiply that number together. All right, so looking at this right here, we have a plus next to a minus. Who always wins? The negative always wins, okay? So now I'm going to drop down negative 5/9, and I'm going to bring down minus 2/3. Because I eliminated that double sign, I am allowed to get rid of those parentheses. All right, now looking at this, do I need a common denominator? Yes, you always need a common denominator. What would my common denominator be, class? 9. So I'm going to multiply this by 3 and multiply this by 3. I'll drop down the negative 5/9 minus... Looking at that right there, guys, what would that turn into? 6/9 is correct. Class, every number has a sign, and that sign is directly in front of that number. Do I have the same sign or different sign here? Same sign. What's the rule? Add and keep. Guys, what's 5/9 plus 6/9? 11/9. And keep the sign. What was the sign? Negative. Here's what a lot of people did on their quiz. Why is that incorrect? It's improper. You're not allowed to leave something improper. So instead, you should be turning 11/9 into a mixed number. Okay? So that's what it would be as a mixed number. If you look right here, was that positive or negative? If it's a negative improper fraction, it's still going to be a negative mixed number. So the correct answer is negative 1 2/9. Okay, I want to go over this a couple times real quick. Let's imagine that you had 5 squared. What does that mean?
5 times 5.
5 times 5. Let's say you have 3 squared. What's that mean?
3 times 2.
3 times 3. Okay, let's go over here. If you have negative 4 squared, what does that mean?
4 times 4.
Not 4 times 4. Negative 4 times itself times negative 4. A lot of people messed up on their quiz when they did this. Okay, guys, let's count the negative signs. How many negative signs are there? 2. Is the number 2 even or odd? Even, because there are an even number of negative signs, your answer has to be?
Positive.
It must be positive, so the correct answer would have been positive 16. For this one, we're evaluating the expression when h equals 8, k equals -4, and m equals -2. So we're just going to plug in for those letters. Instead of h, what will I put? 8. Instead of k, -4. Bring down your plus sign. Instead of m, I'll put -2. Okay, we've got a case of the double signs right here. Who will always win? The negative. When you add a negative number, it simply means you're subtracting. Okay, now let's focus on this, because according to PEMDAS, I have to divide first. Class, what is 8 divided by -4?
2.
Not 2. -2. Okay, there was an odd amount of negative signs, so my answer has to be negative. Also bring down the -2. At this point, am I adding and subtracting, or am I multiplying and dividing? Adding and subtracting. Think about the rules. Same sign, add and keep. Different sign, subtract and take. Do I have the same sign or different sign? Same sign. Add the numbers. What's 2 plus 2?
4.
Keep the sign. What was the sign? -4. So the correct answer is -4. All right, let's start plugging things in. K squared. What is K? -4. Here's where most people messed up. Because we have to square the K, you have to remember you are also squaring that negative, okay? Minus, what is H? 8. Divided by M, what is M? -2. All right? Now, let's do our exponents first. So I'm going to underline this. Class, what does -4 squared mean?
-4 times -4.
How many negatives are there?
2.
2. That's an even number of negatives, so your answer has to be positive 16. If you don't have that on your board, go ahead and erase it and fix it. Now, oh, that was a -2. According to PEMDAS, what should I do next?
Divide.
I have to divide. Good job, because divide comes before subtract. Class, what is 8 divided by -2? -4. Don't forget, you still have a 16 and a minus. What should I do to the 16 and the minus? Bring it down, okay? And then those double negatives become a what? A positive. So what's 16 plus 4? 20. The only one that got it correct was Ellie. Good job. All right, for this next problem, it says, a tree originally weighed 400 pounds. After 5 months of weather storms, it lost most of its trunk and branches. Its final weight was only 50 pounds. How many pounds did the tree lose per month? All right, do you guys remember the little formula we said? Final minus initial divided by the time. Everyone say that.
Final minus initial divided by the time.
All right, so we are going to take the final weight of the tree. What was the final weight of the tree at the end of our problem? 400 pounds. Okay, so remember, all we're doing here is we are just plugging in 400 pounds for that. Next up, minus the initial weight. How much did it weigh initially, or at the beginning?
15 pounds.
Oh, we got this mixed up. At the end, it was 50. And then initially, at the beginning, it was 400. Okay, and then divide it by the time. 5 months. Let's focus on the top part first. What is 50 minus 400?
350.
Negative 350 pounds. And that was in 5 months. Now here's what the question says. How many pounds did the tree lose per month? A lot of people on their quiz are like, oh, whoops, I'm supposed to have this per month. So then they just erase it and say, all right, I'll pretend that happened in a month. Did it lose 350 pounds in only a month? No, it lost that in how much time?
5 months.
5 months. Now, in order for me to figure out how many it lost per month, I would just divide the whole thing by 5. Okay, so if you divide the denominator by 5, you have to divide the numerator by 5. If you do it off to the side, 350 divided by 5. This is also what a lot of people did on their quiz. and they said, oh, I got a 0 at the end. The answer's 7. Why is that not correct?
Because you have to bring down the other 0.
You have to bring down this other 0. And now we know 5 goes into 0 0 times. Now there's no more zeros to bring down, so the correct answer would be
Negative 70.
very good. Okay, so we're going to do negative 70 pounds, make sure you put units, per month. Or you could just say it lost 70 pounds per month. Either one would be fine. All right, question number 10 says, you play a game on the computer. For every correct move you make, you receive 5 points. For every minute that it takes you to finish the game, you lose 10 points. It takes you 4 minutes to complete the game, and you made 6 correct moves. What was your final score? All right, so you guys may go ahead and start working on it. There's 2 things you're looking at. The time, how long it took you, and correct moves, how many correct moves you made. Those are the 2 things that will help you to find your score. All right, let's talk about the time first. What's it tell us about time? For every minute that it takes you to finish the game, you lose 10 points. If you lose points, you're getting negative 10. How many minutes did it take us? 4 minutes. So you're going to do negative 10 times 4. Guys, what's negative 10 times 4?
40.
Not 40. Negative 40. You're losing those points. I'm going to circle it. It's not my final answer, but it's an important answer. Let's talk about the correct moves. How many correct moves did you make?
6.
Okay, 6. It says you made 6 correct moves. What happens if you make a correct move? You get 5 points. So we're going to multiply that by 5. What's 6 times 5? 30. That's a positive 30. Now just combine that score. Negative 40 plus 30. Same sign or different sign? Different sign. Subtract and take the sign of the larger number. What's the answer? Negative 10. Here's what you got to be careful of. It's a modeling real life problem, so please make sure you add the units. It would be negative 10 points. Okay? Listen, if you know and understand these problems that we did today, you will do excellent on your test tomorrow, but please make sure you review it and go over it.